If you're running a local service business and haven't paid attention to your Google business profile, then today's podcast is going to help you out. Now, quick story time. Last week, I was handing business cards into local businesses. I was going in and introducing myself and just letting people in the area know what we do. And I was getting a feel for like where his business is at. And one thing I was doing was looking at someone's Google business or Googling their business and finding out what they do. And funnily enough, at the same time I was running ads, still running ads, and somebody inquired for us. So I looked them up, and it was a local lighting business. And I thought, okay, this let me do a wee bit of research before I go down and meet the guy. And I pulled up his Google business profile, seen he had a basic landing page website that was okay. It kind of told you about what he'd done. Found their social media. Again, social media wasn't strong, but that's the case. I would say majority of the time, nine times out of 10, local businesses, there's very few that do it well or that do it at all, especially in like shop front showroom businesses. And one thing that caught my eye was, okay, this is a business that like a couple of little tweaks, some low-hanging fruit would be the Google reviews. The last Google review was 6 years old, and there was only 8 in total. And out of the 8 reviews, it was like a 3.8 3.8 star rating on Google. So I was like, okay, that he's probably been running the business for the last 5 years, 10 years. But that's an easy one because I'm sure he's got a shop front. I've drove by it many a times, and I assume that he has customers that would happily leave him a 5-star review. So anyway, I go in, get chatting to the guy. Turns out his business has been running for almost 50 years. Now, when you hear that, like there has to be some strength and some longevity in a business to operate that long, and very few have been running for that length of time. And this wasn't a multi-million pound organisation that's been running. It's just him. He took it over from his dad. Small local family business. And when they've been running for that length of time, when people are buying or customers making a buying decision, they will give back to the local business. They 100% will give back. However, this is a business that is operating, and many of you listening to this will be in the same boat where it's not that your business is bad, it's just the way marketing's evolved, you're missing a lot of opportunity. So he had spent money on banner boards, he had spent money on the shop front, he's tried to design the shop in a way where people can come in. The funny thing about banner boards, when you see the business's name, the first thing you end up doing is Googling, and the digital shop front did not look good. The digital shop front almost looked like he was non-existent. So This is a topic that I want to talk about today, is the Google business profile, and some quick what's things that you can do to maximize and optimize your return on that. So first thing people do is they're going to search you in some form or manner. They're either going to look you up on Facebook, on Instagram, but AI sort of making its way into this conversation as well. Again, we'll want to do a later episode on that, so I don't feel that I'm not fully confident in giving advice on that just now, kind of testing a few things in the background. But one thing that tends to happen is people Google, because you'll search them, look for their address, see if there's any recent pictures, look at reviews, and that all plays into the buying decision when it comes to customers making the decision to buy from you. A lot of businesses still operate on referrals. There's nothing wrong with that. Referrals is still a strong model to run within your business. Is probably why, I can think of, I would say 70%, 60% of our business of clientele who work with us have came through referrals, because they know of someone, or they've seen someone use their services and seen it on their stories. So absolutely still a method, an acquisition channel. However, it can be hard to scale. There's methods that you can do by posting and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes referrals will supersede the crappy digital presence that your business may have. However, if you want to maximize your return and get a great response and return on new inquiries into your business, change up. There's a couple of things you can do with your Google business profile, and you don't need to be 100% tech savvy. It's fairly straightforward. It's a service that we offer, we can do for you, but I wanted to do this podcast to give you some free game and things to consider, all right? So we'll run through these. There's not many at all. It generally doesn't take long to do. You might be a couple hours, depending on your technical ability, but at the same time, it's a straightforward process. So first things first is linking your business profile to an account. So when you're logged into Google, you search your business, you can claim that business against the email address that you're logged in against. Some businesses haven't even done that. And by doing that, you then have full creative access and full creative control to the business. So I'm just going to swap over here to one of our clients. I'm not going to obviously share any of this information, and I'm going to type in the business name. And here we have the business profile, and it shows you your business strength. Now, you get some very interesting analytics here, which we may touch on in this episode. I'll see how long this ends up being in terms of recording. But the first thing you want to do is claim that, and then it'll bring up a screen, or if you've already claimed it, on the right-hand side, you'll have complete info, right? So when you open that up, it'll kind of take you through the things and tell you to make sure you've done this, make sure you've done that. What you can do is just kind of skip through all that and then just go to the profile and then click on edit profile. Sometimes Google will ask you, like, do you want to spend money and get your website ranked higher, etc., etc. Again, we'll cover all this in later episodes, but we're just looking to do some quick fire things to make sure everything's in order, okay? So the About Us section, your business name, make sure your business name matches your shop front or matches what it is that people search. Some people trade, some people have businesses like, I don't know, like I was on the fence of kind of rebranding to Cooper Creative Studios, right? So let's say the front of house, the location was called Cooper Studios, but I'm trading as Bulletproof Studios. What are people searching? So if I'm introducing myself as Bulletproof Studios, but the front of the house says Cooper Studios, there's a mismatch there. So make sure all of that lines up. The business name, you then have business category. Again, these are all really good for when people type in gyms in my area or marketing studios in my area. So by having those things in, you'll rank highly within that realm. Next thing is an easy one, is a description. You've got about 750 characters here. Now, don't go overboard. Don't overthink this too much. Just tell people what it is that you do. Like, what do you specialize in? And write a little kind of synopsis in there. If you struggle with writing, use tools like Claude. Don't just take what Claude says, like get them to help you, or write something just in basic layman terms, put it into Claude, spice it up a bit, and kind of go back and forth until you get a description that you're happy with. You then get opening date. Again, this is quite vital, because if someone's searching for something, they say it's been open for a long period of time, they go, okay, this is someone that's obviously good, because you can't run a business for 50 years and not be good at it. Next thing, you've got your website. So this is very crucial. Make sure that whatever page where you can get inquiries through is linked to that, because it later down the line, when you're looking at analytics, it's very, very important. Now, backing up a little sec, one of the most important steps is setting this up, right? And an analogy I'll use is like filling up a bucket or filling up a bath. Everyone jumps to turning on the hot water or feeding the volume. And that's the analogy of getting leads, getting inquiries, and doing all these things that help grow the business. But if the bucket or the bathtub or your Google profile, like none of these are in order, it doesn't matter how many leads or how much traffic you send to your Google profile and how much promotional stuff you do to get people to search you. If your website's not linked here, you're missing opportunities to convert leads. If your address isn't on here, you're missing opportunities to convert leads. If you have poor reviews on there, you're actually turning leads away from you. So it doesn't matter how good you are at promoting stuff. If people look at it and there's like 3 1-star reviews, there's a good chance that in your promotional stuff, you're always or 9 times out of 10, you're usually trying to target an audience who doesn't know you. So if your digital shop front doesn't look well, you're going to miss an opportunity to convert them. So make sure your website's on there. You then have a great opportunity here to have your social profiles on there. So many times when I was going around Airdrie and I parked outside and I was like, okay, let me Google their business profile. Cool. One thing we do well is social media promotion. So let me see if they've got a social media. And I'm like, it's not linked on their Google. Okay, let me find them. And I was like, okay, they don't, I've searched for 5-10 minutes, don't see that they have one. And then I'd go in and speak to them and say, oh, I've seen that you don't have much social media. And it's like, oh no, we do. I was like, okay. And it's like, yeah, we're called blah, 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 _dot/ And I was like, okay, I found it quite hard to find yous. It wasn't linked. So maybe a wee thing that you would be quite good to do if people are trying to find your social presence. And some of them had really good social presences, some good social posts and kind of explaining what it was or do. But me being an outsider and where my customer journey hat, I'm like, okay, I'll Google this site and I'll see, nah, they're not on social media. I'll find someone else. That is a very common buying behavior that customers have. So make sure your social profiles are on there. And then the last one, your location, right? The full address, not just pinning it on you've got an option to actually pin the address on Google Maps, but go into it and write the whole address out. Next one is opening hours. This is obviously more specific for shop fronts. And then you can add in special hours if you're closed on like various different days. You've then got other things like amenities and offerings, parkings, payments, etc., and service options. Now, service options is kind of letting customers that do you do outdoor services, indoor, online, digital products, etc., etc. So again, all of this can be tailored to the business that you're running. Now, in theory, that's the basic information, okay? The next thing you want to do is photos, right? Take a picture of your shop front and post it. That is crazy how dramatic a difference that makes. We've actually just took on a new client who has a very strong business, making very good money. He's got great brand representation, and he's moved to a new area. And he's brought us on board, and we're actually going to use the new area as a test pilot for deploying different marketing channels, because it's something he's never done for the last 12 years. And when I brought the Livingston area up, the Google profile, when you click on it, on the Google street image that was there, his business, like, you couldn't see where the shop front was. So me being a customer, I'm like, I don't know if that business is open. I don't know if they exist. And he's actually spent good money on a nice shop front. So take a picture of it and upload it, and then that's the image that customers then see when they go up. The next thing you can take pictures of is maybe the interior, some of the things that you offer. If you offer fireplaces, kitchens, if you offer bathrooms, if you're a gym, like, show some of the highlights. It doesn't need to be tons, or encourage your customers to share the pictures with you and post them. It can be a bit of a social platform as well. You can add a logo, you can add photos of your business, kind of highlighting the space, as I was saying, or you can do like a cover photo of like you're kind of making a strong first impression. So photos are a really good one to do. It helps with the conversion process and all that sort of stuff. Now, the last ones you can do is like posts. So you can start posting and kind of updating a variety of things that happen. So let's say you run a promotion on a weekend sale, right? A weekend sale is a common one in the showroom industry. Post it there as well, right? Because you have traffic that is Googling you, that is searching fireplaces near me, or where can I buy X? Like, that's where your Google business profile will come into the mix. And there's a bit of this conversation. We're having a strong website with what's called search SEO, but it's almost irrelevant if it's a separate conversation to have, and they do sort of go hand in hand, but maybe I'll do a follow-up episode to what should all websites what's like 5 things all websites should have on them. Because if you've got these keywords on your website and a good strong or just an optimized Google business profile, they'll go hand in hand. So the posting, absolutely encourage, like, whatever you're posting on social media, do like a duplication and just post it on the Google business profile, because it helps you rank higher, so that when people type in gyms in this area, then guess what then comes up? Your gym comes up because you're an active user. Okay, so that sort of takes care of the majority of it. The last thing here is reviews, okay? So a couple of things I'll say on reviews. Number one, when someone uses your service, have something that is automated or done so that you don't have to always like have it as a manual action. It's very easy to automate reviews. It's something that we build in our, so we use a CRM system for all our clients, and we create a process. So there's an automation done that when the trigger point of someone getting their product or getting their service delivered or installed, there is a review being asked in that process. And clients do it in many different ways. Some offer a free coffee, some offer a discount or a free Red Bull because it's a different industry. Some do like a refer a friend type thing where if you refer someone, you get a discount, and if you leave a review or refer and introduce people in, then they'll give you money off a product. So there's a couple of different ways to like capture this, or a couple of different ways to go about it. But the main thing is that you need to ask. Okay, so that has to be something that I would recommend automating it, because if you deal with like 50 customers across the month, it can be a full-time job asking for reviews and chasing up. So the systems that we can build, or the systems that you can look out for yourself and build, tell you what, I'll leave a link to the CRM system that we use below. I think some of the you can use it free for the next 30 days. But some of the plans in there, I think, is as little as £97 a month. Now, bear in mind, this is a full-blown CRM system, but within that, it's fairly easy to set up an automations and then have that done for you. So every time someone buys a product, you just say, okay, here's the trigger that we're looking for. When someone buys that or uses that, make sure, can we send them this email? And you can write the email and customize it and all that sort of thing. Or if you want messages, it can be something that we set up as well. Now, the next thing on the reviews is every single review that comes through, reply to it. Like, have a human connection. This is someone who's used your service. Don't be all fancy in the wording and just say, thanks very much for leaving it. Like, something simple as that shows that you're an active, caring business owner. And it doesn't have to, or an active, caring business, should I say. Again, like, people went out their way to leave you a review because they felt that they've got a good service. Now, that being said, there is probably going to be a time where you get a bad review or a mediocre review. The last thing you want to do is pay for reviews, okay? So, look, it happens, right? It's like, oh, if you do that, like we'll give you a discount. You're not saying if you leave a 5-star review, we'll give you a discount. You're saying, look, we'd love to get some feedback on how our service was. It helps strengthen our business, and it also shows other potential customers that we are kind of good at what we do. This goes for the same. If you feel that you've not had a good service, we'd love to hear your feedback on how we can improve. That standpoint and feedback when it happens, like sometimes if it's an error, like I've seen that where people leave a review and it's got nothing to do with their business, you're like, who the fuck is this person? Like, why have they comment? Like, we got it randomly. This guy down in England steaming, pissed out his mind, and he left us a 1-star review from an ad that we were running. And I was like, so we just had to take it on the chin. We replied to it and say, look, in fact, I remember Jill tried to write out, and she's like, I'll write a message saying, look, sorry, but you've not used our service. And I was like, no, don't say sorry. It's like, you just have a professional response. We challenged it with Google, and Google took it down. So there is instances if that happens, Google will support the business. But if it's someone who has used your service and haven't had the best experience, and maybe it's a disagreement, maybe you've done everything you can, sometimes those ones you just have to take on the chin, right? But I would bet for majority of the time, there's good reviews or good customer experiences you deliver, and you just have to focus on them. So reviews, that's one of them. The last thing I'll say is don't kind of be very careful of getting like you say you've got an email list of 4,000 customers you've had over the last 10 years. Do not mass email them and tell everyone to leave a review. You kind of need to drip feed it. So like, I don't know what the response rate would be, but maybe chunk that list up into like 100 asks at a time and see what happens. Because if you mass review it and you get 1,000 reviews overnight, it will flag up in Google's thing for like spam, and your Google business could be shut down. So be very careful with that. It's very rare that it happens, in all honesty, but yeah, it's still something worth considering. So yeah, I think that kind of wraps up the Google business kind of profile. As I said, it's a fairly straightforward thing to do. It's fairly simplified, but it's something that a lot of businesses don't do. And as I said to you, I kind of walked around local businesses in my town, and I was looking at businesses that had a very good shop front, but they equally had a very poor digital footprint, or a very poor digital shop front. So it's an easy thing to get after. It's an easy thing to change, and it can make a dramatic difference in everyone who's searching you, converting into potential inquiries. Now, one thing you get on Google is you can see how many people have clicked and interacted with your Google business profile. Okay, so this one here, it's one of our clients. I can see that 17,000 people in the last month have clicked on this person's business, okay? And then I can click down and actually see, okay, what has people actually done? So if you're, one thing I missed over was phone number. Don't know how I missed that, but make sure your phone number's in there as well. And you can see how many people will search your business to call you. You can see how many people searched your business to get directions to the shop. You can see how many people searched your business and then clicked onto the website. So you can break all that analytical data down. And then what you can then do is go, okay, last month, 1,000 people clicked on our website. Out of those 1,000 people that clicked on the website, I can see that 30 of them clicked on our inquiry form. And out of the 30 that made inquiries, we got 3 potential customers from that. That's pretty poor conversion. There's maybe an opportunity to look at that conversion. However, in theory, these are made up numbers. But what that then means is, okay, what would happen if I drive more traffic to the website, and how would that trickle down the funnel? Like, how would that then convert at the end? Because at the end of the day, we're looking for better quality leads that turn to better sales and customers for us, and that then strengthens the business. So if your business can handle more leads and handle more work, then you want to improve how much traffic's coming through. And this is just an example of where you can track that. Because if you can't track it, it can't be measured. And if it can't be measured, it can't be improved. And if it can't be improved, then you are just guessing. And that is the biggest problem with referral-based businesses. Referrals are good, but you don't have a lever, you don't have a tap to turn on that can then improve the quieter months or the quieter seasons that you may have within your business. So I hope that's helped you. If you made it this far and you have a business and you want Bulletproof Studios to be your marketing partner and help with the promotional side of things, the social media side of things, or maybe you want us to help with maybe the kind of base, make sure the build and some of these automations are happening within your business, let us know. We would love to have a conversation and see how we can help you. And if you've got any questions whatsoever, leave them below this video. Reach out to us at info@bulletproofstudios.co. There is no .co.uk, it's just .co. Weird email address, I know, but that's what makes us unique. Until next time, I will see you on the next episode. Next episode I want to cover is websites still a thing in 2026? Because there's an argument for, there's an argument against it, depending on the business that you have. You'd have to stay tuned for that one. See you guys in the next one. Goodbye.